Ali, the waiting's over now. Pre-season's done and dusted, and the business end starts on Saturday with Leicester. But let's just reflect on pre-season. First time in a long while you've been able to have a pre-season, what you call a decent pre-season. You've worked the boys hard. What are you expecting?
Look, we have worked them hard, and they've worked hard. They've responded with that level of effort. It wasn't really a case of us having to drive them. They were ready and willing to go deep and dark, and they certainly got that. You know, we've had some good times. We spent some great times together as well. You know, I had a few socials in there that certainly has been missing over the past couple of years, and we really bonded well in that front. But look, pre-season's been great. We've changed up a few things, and we've had time to work on that. We've been able to get Omar in with new systems and new ideas on the defensive side of things. We've changed things on the attack side of things. The leaders have been incredible right the way through pre-season. They've driven it and driven high standards right from the off. And as I say, we get ourselves here and prepared in a good state of mind.
We've had a rebrand as well, and that's kind of added to the whole let's change things around a little bit, and the players have really adopted and bought into that idea of let's try something a bit different now, and that's what they want to take into the season.
Yeah, we've pushed it as a bit of a theme. You know, it gives us a good opportunity to sort of reconnect and connect with the past, but also show the qualities that we want to show as a rugby club. So that's been pleasing how the guys have taken it on board, but also taken it forward, and say that leadership group's done an outstanding job at driving that, and hopefully we see the benefits right the way through the season.
Ali, you've just told the media you're expecting big things this season. What do you mean by big things?
Well, look, we always expect it, and we always look forward to that. You know, that we want to see some amazing rugby. We want to see some amazing play. Most important thing is we've got to enjoy our season and make sure we really relish every moment of the fight and the scrap that the Premiership, presents. So look, those big things will come, and they'll be exciting. What we've got to do is work ourselves and put ourselves in a state of mind and a state of physical qualities to have that ability to take advantage of those situations and go and grab them, and very much on the mental side is trying to drive ourselves forward and drive ourselves into those great positions and set up hopefully some big games towards the end of the season.
People will reflect on last season, but nothing lasts forever, as we well know, and to get to 6-7 finals in a row was something special. But at the same time now, you're having to breed your next championship side, your next side that's really going to challenge. And last season was a big learning curve for the likes of Daf Jenkins, for Chris Chunza, for Sam Munda, Josh Hodge, players like that. They had to experience stuff that younger, more experienced guys in the squad now had to face years ago.
Yeah, and it's the same process, but you've got to remember as a coach that actually they haven't had all those experiences. So we go back to square one a little bit with those guys, trying to pull them through. We've obviously the good thing is they've got an experienced group, just ahead of them where they can learn from and tap into. And it's important that the role of those senior guys is really important now, because they've got to instill that work ethic, that desire, that belief that they created and continued for a long period into those new guys, and that's just the cycle of sports and sports teams. So look, we probably started off with the expectations of being right up there at the start of last season, when we had a lot of injuries and we were putting out 18, 19-year-olds that barely played, hadn't played very much rugby. So we probably dropped a few games on the back of that, but that learning process that we went through then will be massive for us now, and now we're in a way different position to we were this time last year. And as I say, those players have knocked themselves on hugely, so they're fast approaching being the key guys. Obviously the senior guys will lead the way, but the young guys have got to push the standards. They've got to push the levels so that the senior guys respond and keep pushing that for higher and higher levels of performance. But we're there, and say we'll be good this year.
2 games last weekend in terms of pre-season. You were missing 1 or 2 through injuries and unavailabilities. Some of those are coming back into the mix this weekend, which is hugely encouraging. But building forward now, what do you take from those 2 games last week? Were you encouraged by what you saw, or is there still work in progress, as it were?
Yeah, look, there's always work in progress, but I took the massive encouragement from it. You know, even though that first half we were well down on the scoreboard, I took masses from that because we've changed a bit of our attack and we've brought in a new D, and there were really good signs there. There were some incredibly poor errors that we won't make throughout the rest of the season. You know, it was our first hit out, you know, so we were rusty. But to show the signs of promise and to show the signs of creating opportunities and having those those systems in place and then working to an extent. They didn't work long enough in the attack because we didn't hang on to the ball long enough, but at all times there were opportunities there for us. So really encouraged by that, and we'll be better ball in hand. You know, a little bit of that rustiness was from a week off the week before, but also our first hit out. So this week we're way better prepared than that, and the other signs will hopefully really come to light once we get the quality of our skill basics, you know, right up to the level we need to.
And the acid test, the defending champions first up, you couldn't have asked for probably a better test, could you?
Look, look, anything, whenever the fixture comes out, you get excited about the first game, don't you? So, and I say, no better than this weekend. Leicester done an amazing job. Steve's done a great job over the last 2 years, turning them around into a real top quality side. Hard working, physical, set piece orientated. We know where the areas we've got to make sure we're top drawer at. But it's a great, like you said, a great opportunity for us to see where we're at. Okay, and the one thing I do know, this team will grow and it will get better. So it's first part of our learning curve at the weekend, but let's see where we're at, and then we get a base, and then we move forward from there. But say, like any Premiership weekend, there's 5 points up for the grabs. Let's go out there, hunt it, go fight for every little bit of action, and we'll see where we are at the end of it.
Final one for me. Both you and Rob mentioned it, that towards the end of last season you were able to maybe look to the future a little bit, and we saw towards the end of the season, that last game in particular against Quins, what a buzz in place this was, the full house. That's the foundation from which you want to probably build this season, isn't it? Yeah,
look, each game becomes slightly different based on the opposition, because like Quins, you know, they like to play and they'll play rugby. We're always keen to play. So some matchups create that type of game, some matchups create a different type of game. But I certainly think, like you say, the chance to bring in those young guys, to put people on the field that, hey, we're just going to purely fight for the individual battles and then the win, was a real insight as well. So we've got to go with those guys. The guys that are prepared to compete and scrap for every little bit of the game are the guys you build your club on, and they're going to be the guys that are going to be important this weekend and going forward.